So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. Okay, Rockstar Nation, we have a great returning guest. Yes, I have Nancy Braun coming from Charlotte, North Carolina. I just wasn't too long ago. I was in Charlotte. I've been there a couple of times in the last couple of years. Up until probably a year and a half ago, I never went. And in just probably the last 18 months, I've been twice. Beautiful area, just rocking and rolling and growing by leaps and bounds. Was just mentioned, I think, right? Didn't you say you just saw it mentioned as one of the fastest growing areas in the country? Tell me.
Well, it's according to Zillow, it was number 4 for the hottest real estate markets, and number 7 by Realtor.com.
What do they think? Like, what does hot real estate market mean?
I think they are considering the cost of living, the jobs, the economic environment. We have a very reasonable cost of living in Charlotte, and the price points of our homes are very affordable. We have I guess they factor in all of that, as well as the units sold and how much growth is going on in the city. I think that's what I read from that article.
Yeah, that's always fascinating when you see that. Okay, but anyways, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm thrilled to be back. I'm actually honored to be back. Thank you.
So the last time you came on, you were episode 425. If you guys didn't hear that, you definitely need to hear it. That was almost 200 episodes ago. We were talking about your transition from an REO agent to a traditional agent. Now your traditional business is close to 70% of your total market share. So we're not going to talk about REOs at all today, because it's kind of, I don't want to say it's dying, but it's certainly not where we want people to focus. We want people to focus on traditional business, because there's a lot more money in that today. So let's talk. First of all, tell me about your year. What was your, I like to call it, Nancy, the ECI, ego commission income. A lot of companies refer to GCI, but what was your ECI in the last, say, 12 months?
Well, I had a good year, and I had a strong retail presence. Like you said, we've been veering off of the REO focus and working more with the general buyers and sellers. I have my own internal team that works with me, and I also have outside sales agents and inside sales agents. And it was a nice balance, and I was able to take a 3-week vacation to New Zealand and go to St. Lucia and still produce a good number, of business. So I think I've been trying to find balance in my life, and I try to read Audible books every week and webinars. I'm trying to always improve my systems and take time with my family, and I think that's what I've sort of focused on this year, was balance.
That's awesome. 3 weeks is no joke. In New Zealand, I was there last year, so I know I could have stayed 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, and you need 3 weeks. I barely touched both islands, but the office was still there when I got back, and
people rise to the occasion, don't they?
Yeah, it was great.
So like, how many houses have you sold in the last 12 months?
I think we sold 240.
And what's your average sale price?
It's not very high. That's where I got to work on. So maybe 175.
So 175. Okay.
Average.
So 50 million in volume, something like that.
Yeah. So we used to do bigger numbers during the REO days. So my highest once was 525. But it doesn't mean more profit. It doesn't matter. The units doesn't matter at the end of the day. You got to work smart.
Ain't that the truth? right?
Hmm.
Ain't that the truth? And that's why I call it ECI, right? Because it's some people will get out there and say, yeah, I made $1 million, right? But their profit is 4%, and it's like,
Or their
you
stress
made
level
40
because
grand, right?
making mistakes or not having control over their systems. We're very systematized here, which is really, that's in place to create consistency and be more proactive rather than reactive. So when we did 525 closings, I probably lost a few years of my life and the stress of it, as it came on. Whereas now I feel like we're producing a better service product for our clients and happier clients.
Good for you, and you're happier too. And you
Yeah.
probably couldn't have never taken 3 weeks in New Zealand
Mm-mm.
back in the day with a listing a day or 3 listings a day. I remember those REO days, and I had a ton of accounts too. And
Uh-huh.
you know, I remember just one. I don't want to say the wrong number, but I think one they used to always give us the listings on Fridays for some
Oh, of course.
reason.
That's right.
Dumb reason. And I remember I think we got 28 listings one day, and that was like, well, man, we got 28 listings today. You know what I mean? And that's the sort of fires that you had to put out, right? Like, oh crap, now we gotta get these on the market, and
Yeah.
they gave you a certain amount of time that you had to, tell them what it was worth and get the original. You know what I mean? So by Monday at noon, all your time limits were up, and it was
Mm-hmm.
crazy stressful days. So let's get back to that. So what did you say your gross commission was?
Last year, gross commission, I think we were closer to um, our gross commission for the company, the commission, not the volume. I see.
Yeah,
We were about $1 million.
$1 million. And what would you say your profit margin is?
Not so good. Not so good.
10%
But
would mean
that
100,000.
we're just
25,
sort of, we
250.
kind of break even. We break even.
So how do you make money?
Well, I have a salary.
So you pay yourself a salary.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. And and is that how you've always done it?
Not in the beginning. I used to wait and hope for crumbs. But no, I've consistently, for many, many years now, been on a salary. And I'm building a business. And so, our money goes back into the business. And I also invest in properties. So I'm my own investor and have rentals. I'm actually converting a property that I just bought a couple weeks ago into an Airbnb. So I have a diverse
That's
type
always
of
fun.
business model, and I also do property management.
So tell me about that Airbnb. Now, is that in a regular neighborhood? I know that.
Yes, yes. I bought an old house that needs to be completely gutted, and I'm going to make it really wild and funky and very desirable for the millennials. And
Funky. And
yeah,
there's no regulations that will prohibit you from doing that?
not in that neighborhood. No, I can do that. It's in an older neighborhood.
And so
Yeah.
that's the way to go, huh? Get an old house,
Yeah,
make it funky and new. Basically, rip out all the walls and make it open.
that's right. I'm ripping out the ceiling too, so the wood rafters on the roof are going to be exposed. Yeah.
And really, anywhere near a hotel, and every town has hotels, or within a couple of miles of a hotel, you're pretty much guaranteed traffic.
I've got about 5 hotels within a half a mile from it, so I'm excited. I'm very excited. But there also is a 600 square foot structure behind the house that I'm going to convert to a studio apartment for the Airbnb, and so they can rent out the house and/or the back building as well.
You have to look around for that. I think the biggest fear there that I've had in doing that myself is just that the neighbors are going to complain. You know what I mean? That the city has an ordinance, or that something's going to come up and they're going to say, hey, your rental license doesn't cover that.
We don't have that issue where I am. Yeah. But if you're in a subdivision, there might be some restrictions on how long the lease can be for. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's no, HOA rules where I bought.
All right.
I'm so excited.
All right.
So yeah.
All right. And I guess so just curious, like, what do you pay yourself a salary? How much?
Oh, come on.
But
What do you pay yourself?
You pay yourself enough, and then
Yeah.
I guess you feel good about hey, I can take 3 weeks off or whatever, and that sort of thing.
And it's my business, so I'm investing back into my business and
Yeah.
always striving to improve profit. And that's our mission this year, is to get profitable. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about like your recruit. First of all, what does your company look like?
So I consider our company model very different than the traditional real estate model. So I am the owner, and then I have 10 full-time employees. I have another, let's say, about 15 virtual assistants, and another 10 field service people, maybe 7 field service people outside. And then I have about 10 to 12 agents at any time. So there's about 50 of us in total, and
Wow.
some of them salaries, some of them independent contractors, some of them part-time. I usually have interns. So I have a real employee-centric model.
You sure do. Like, and do like these virtual assistants, are they in the Philippines, or are they, where are they?
Most are in the Philippines.
And
Mhm.
are those the ones doing your REO work, or are they doing your traditional stuff too?
So I have 3 that are my ISAs, and those are in the Philippines. So they're really answering the phones. And I have 2 more in-house ISAs. Then I have a couple that are doing the REO stuff. I always say to my staff, if you're getting overwhelmed, I'll get you a virtual assistant. So then they just delegate any of the repeated work to their virtual assistant. I have a bookkeeper that does a great job with the REO reimbursements and other tasks.
Yeah, you got to have that. Yeah.
And I have all my SEO and marketing and social media stuff done by the virtual assistants. So that's a big chunk right there.
All right. Well, let's 50 people, and 5 years ago, how many did you have?
Oh, I had more. More because I had more in-house staff.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
Yeah,
because of the REO. So now,
yeah.
So where are you recruiting? Like, how are you getting the agents? Let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about the agents.
So we've been doing a pretty good Facebook marketing campaign. Yes, 4 agents.
And so give me an idea of what the actual ad looks like. I mean, I want people to be like, oh, I want to run that ad. I want to copy Nancy and run this in Mississippi.
Well, I think I have various different ads that go out. We offer a free book of benefits, and then they can go on our the lead page and get the book of benefits, which shows pretty in detail and attractively. It shows what they can expect to receive coming on board with Showcase, and then we do ads in various portals. I use WiseHire. I don't know if you've heard of WiseHire.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been on the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's been on our show. Why don't you tell everyone about it, though?
So I really love it. I hire from WiseHire completely. It focuses on real estate industry, and they push out ads in LinkedIn and recruiting sites. I'm not sure which ones they send out. and they all get funneled into their website. And I'm a big disc test person, so the person that submits their resume also has to do the disc test. So right then you can look at their resume, you can look at their cover letter, you can look at their disc tests and evaluate whether you want to bring them in or talk to them. So I have different ads running, whether it's to have ISAs or recruiting agents, people to join my team, or other tasks, if, administrative work. And the people can come in on that site, and I interview pretty much anyone that's licensed that has a decent resume, because they might be interviewing for a paid employment job, but maybe they're really not admin material. Maybe they're high D&I, and I recruit them instead. So they come in, I meet them, and I'm like, you should be an agent. So that's a nice tool. I love WiseHire. I recommend it to a lot of people. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, there's so many steps that they provide that just get you right there. I think a lot of agents don't grow because they're afraid of all those steps in between. You know what I mean? And then they're afraid they're going to hire somebody and it's not going to work out, and it's going to be so much more pain involved in that than it is pain to just not grow the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have a plethora of leads because we're really fabulous at marketing and our branding and getting prospects to go into our CRM. So I have over 51,000 leads in my database. So I always am, promoting in my marketing materials.
1,000. What CRM are you using?
I use Commissions Inc.
Okay, and 51,000. What do you do with 51,000?
Well, it's interesting. I was just speaking with a prospective agent right before I got on this call, and we got onto my site, and we're looking at the back end of it to see the 51,000 leads in the dashboard. And there was one lead in there that we opened that had been on the platform for over 1,100 days. But they were looking to be a seller, and she just logged in this morning. They've been logging in every day. I mean, some of my older leads are my best
so
leads.
They were on there for 3.5 years.
Correct.
They really weren't logging in. They just kind of were dead. And then all of a sudden they started logging in, and you're like, hey, bing, 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 new activity.
Exactly.
Johnson.
Exactly. Right. So I've been building this lead machine since I opened Showcase in 2008. So maybe 2010. I played with some other CRMs before Commissions Inc. So maybe we're talking 2010. So about 7 years worth of leads. But I say to my agents, some of these older leads are the best because they were kicking tires when they got on first. But now they're really ready to go. So I think part of the reason why we have leads is because I don't allow for phone duty. We've always paid employees that are scripted to answer the phones, and those are my ISAs. So they capture that prospect, put them into the database, and set them up on drip campaigns. And then we set them up with property alerts. And we email them, we text blast them, we videos, we send them really good content material so they stay on board and they open a good chunk of the emails.
All that done via the company or via the agent?
Oh, company.
The company. And is the agent allowed to take ownership and say, I want these 100 leads, or do they stay like company leads until they're at some point?
Yeah, so once we've reached contact, so if they signed on to our CRM and they are in our database, but we have not actually spoken to them, we don't typically assign them to an agent. So we keep them in place and we keep following up with them. So the ISAs are more in charge of those people. But once they've spoken to the lead and they label them, we label them A lead, B lead, or C lead. We might assign, most likely we'll assign the A and B leads to an agent, and then the agents kind of take over from there.
And what's the definition of A, B, or C?
A is they're ready to go, they're pre-approved. B, they're probably 60 or more days out and not pre-approved. C, they probably can't get pre-approved anytime soon.
They're just looking, yeah.
So we stick the C's in the database. They get all our materials, and we hope that we can change them to an A or B lead eventually. But the A and B leads will,
change themselves.
Yeah, that's right. So right. So, and then we can see, who last logged in, how many times they've logged in, are they opening the emails, are they opening the property alerts, how engaged are they in the system, and that sort of draws us to decide whether we should keep following up and how frequently we should follow up. So one of the things when you asked before, how am I luring these agents? Well, that most of them coming in, two things they want. They want leads and they want support. That's every single person that walks in the door. They want leads and they want support. So if they're at one of my competitors, you know, to them, they're getting maybe renter leads, they're getting the scratch and dent leads. They're not really getting the volume leads that we have, and it's a numbers game.
Or they're not getting any leads. They're at a company that says, hey, you got to pick up the phone and prospect, you know?
That's right. And if they're a new agent, it's so hard to call your church and your sphere, because the sphere knows that you have no experience. And it's really, really hard to get your feet wet with that as your lead source. So those agents come on board. They're hungry for business. They want to get working. They typically are with another company. They've maybe drained their bank account because they've spent money on coaching, they've spent money on the systems, and they're not getting anywhere. And then the support question, you know, I'm like, what do you mean by the support? And I think that some of them get lost in the teams, or they get lost they don't feel like anyone's watching over them or watching their business, or they feel like they don't have direction.
Yeah. That's interesting. And it's great. It's easy, right? If your ads is like, hey, you know, 51,000 leads versus they're in a situation where they're not really getting any leads. Everybody, you know what? I had Alex Charfin, who created the CDP or whatever course, you know, told me one time, and I was talking to him about creating something to give agents more free time. And he's like, nah, he said, you're not going to sell. You won't make a lot of money with that. And I said, well, why not? He says, you know, agents don't want that. You know, I mean, what agents really want is more leads.
That's what they want.
It's like, you know, give the people what they want. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think that's the same thing with, you know, recruiting agents, obviously, is that's what they want.
They want the leads. And unfortunately, most of them want the low-hanging fruit leads. But they don't really want to make the 15 follow-up calls. And so I think that's why they want the volume of leads, because they want to take the cream of the crop out of the leads that they get and the ones that are ready, willing, and able to go now. But they're not known for as much follow-up as we do internally.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Yeah. So Nancy, what's your market like? You know, buyer's market, seller's market?
Seller's market. Oh, crazy seller's market. So there's so little for sale. Very little new construction, and a growing population, and a big rental population. They're building apartments everywhere, luxury rentals. But we could sell a $200,000 house probably 100 times. I mean, it just, you know, multiple offers when it comes on the market. We, as a buyer agent, you know, when my agents are acting as a buyer agent, we say that they have to present their offer better than everyone else's offer. So we create a multiple offer package. So we include a table of contents, a love letter with the pictures of the family that wants to buy their house, personalized to the seller, and as strong of a approval letter as possible, a very, very, very clean offer. In fact, that little Airbnb that I'm buying, my offer was a multiple offer scenario. I offered cash, no inspection, 7-day close, as is, and that's how I got it.
How many offers were there?
4 in one day, and they said the seller said they were going to make the decision that day.
Of course.
So I was fast, and I knew I was going to completely gut the house, so I didn't even care about an inspection.
Yeah, right. Did you overbid or?
I probably overbid a few thousand, but I don't care.
Yeah, right.
I got it. Yeah.
And so, how are agents getting listings in a market like that? I mean, it's got to be like they're fighting over. Do you see commissions dropping? Do you see like Open Door and a lot of these companies coming in and just swooping them up?
Well, we don't drop our commission myself, when I'm going on listing appointments, because we're doing so much marketing, very expensive, costly marketing for our sellers.
Is that tough? I mean, I imagine generally when you're in like that massive seller market, right? Agents are. You got 5. I'm interviewing 5 agents. I'm going to pick one, and someone's going to get paid this weekend.
Yeah. Well,
commission.
The people that want to reduce commission are they're maybe not my seller, but when I do my presentation and I show them what we offer, I explain how our marketing tools are going to get you more offers, better offers. So you're going to actually end up netting more money than if you went with this discount broker that's going to be limited service and not give you all the marketing that we're going to give you. So it's huge. I mean, the kind of things that we do generate so much activity. So we do amazing videos of the properties, and we take advantage of all the tools that are out there to market the properties. But I have a very strong marketing team. So our properties are really, really better marketed than my competitors. I know they are. So I can show that, and I can show my numbers, and I have a PowerPoint, and I show how I sell my homes for least amount of time, most amount of dollars, and least amount of hassle, and I can show it by numbers. And then I show the marketing reports that we provide the seller during their time that they're listed with us. And I think that's where a lot of sellers are hungry for information. It's not the old days where you listed it and you waited till an offer came around. You're partners in this, and the sellers want to participate in the process. They want to talk about how their home is going to be marketed and where it's going to be marketed and how many hits are they getting and how many clicks, and they want to know that. And I think we've come up with a very effective campaign so we can update them during their listing. So we actually provide them a live calendar. They can click on any day and go, oh, I see Nancy posted our property on Trulia, and this is what it looks like. Oh, I see.
Live calendar, are you using someone else to do that? Did you create that yourself?
One of my virtual assistants, yeah.
Created a live calendar.
Yeah.
So they could really see like what is being done.
Exactly.
Because everybody has, with Rebus University and Real Estate Rockstars, we have live calendars at any given time. Someone could see what my schedule is, what is due, what blogs are due, what, episodes coming out, Nancy Braun, whatever, why not give that to the seller? Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to be party to the whole thing. They're all internet savvy now. They don't want to have to go on the line and try to dig and find their property. So we send it to them. This is what you look like on all these portals and platforms.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so what about investors? Like, have all the investors been squeezed out because they feel like they're overpaying?
Well, that's a good challenge. I met with a hedge fund yesterday that I'm going to be helping buy some properties, and
they went into, the hedge funds went into Charlotte early. I mean, they went.
They did.
They went to they gobbled up Atlanta, and then they went right to Charlotte, it seems. And I know 4 or 5 years ago they were buying. Are they still buying in there?
I haven't seen the single family rental market as strong, where they're buying the properties to hold and rent. I think they've trailed off because there really isn't an opportunity to get their numbers to work. But there are still investors out there that are doing the fix and flips. And we need those because a lot of the buyers out there don't want to lift a finger. They just want to move right in and hang their pictures. And
Ain't
so
that the truth?
that's true.
There's a real
So,
market for it. I mean, they're doing a service for sure.
right, right. So that's where I think I'm focusing more on rather than the SFRs.
To flippers. Now, are flippers making the enough of a profit? Like I know, just plain devil's advocate, what they probably made on a flip in Charlotte 4 years ago is it different than what they can make on a flip today?
Yeah. So the one I met with yesterday, their goal is 25% after costs. That's what they want to net.
25. Yeah. Can they do that?
Yeah. So let's say you buy a house for 100.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So if you bought a house for 100, you put 50,000 into it, then you just tack on 25%. They need to make, they need to sell the house for, I think it was like 190 or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than that after commissions and stuff like that. But yeah, roughly that's good. If the numbers still work like that, then great. Because those are good numbers. Those are good flip numbers.
Well, they're few and far between, but you have to work harder and you have to be more creative. So
telling your agents, like at your sales meetings, you're telling your agents, we need to work harder to get listings and we need to work harder to find investor flips. How? What do they need to do?
Well, they need to be on time, timely. We send out to our agents, just listed to, or we just acquired these assets, or we have a list of all our properties that we haven't yet put on MLS yet that they could tap into and start looking at. They could be checking for sale by owners. They should be checking coming soons. All my agents are starting to farm neighborhoods. You have to work harder. Everything's internet based. So you need to really, have the right tools. And we're doing a big mail campaign. So we're actually using, postal mail letters out to different groups, whether probate, for sale by owners, expireds. So yeah, it's a lot more expensive to get the listing, a lot more time consuming. I think it's easier for me as a company owner to be able to implement a system like that because I have staff that can create and implement and do those kind of marketing campaigns. As a single agent, I think it's really hard. I think it may make more sense for a single agent to align themselves with a firm like mine that does all the marketing and gets all the leads, and then they can just go out and be great at what they're great at, which is sell and write offers and negotiate. For a single agent to spend all that money and time doing all that incredibly expensive and time-consuming marketing, and that might not even be their forte, it might not be a good use of their time. Instead, maybe pay a little, get a little less commission, pay your broker a higher split, and get those leads and go out there and do what you're good at, which is sell. That's why you got into the business in the first place.
Yeah. Now, with your ISAs, right? Who is in charge of who? Is your ISA in charge of the agents or your agents in charge of the ISA? Meaning, does the ISA, if they have an agent that's dropping the ball, do they have the ability to be like, I'm not giving her any more leads. I'm giving them to Frank instead because he always, does good by them?
That they have the authority. And they can go in, and if they see that the agent has not communicated with that lead for 2 weeks or more, they can reassign the lead. They can reach out to the agent and say, hey, I see Joe just logged into our system, but I don't see you communicating with them. Can you reach out to them? But ultimately, the ISAs have authority over the leads. Who gets the leads? And
right? Yeah.
Well, a lot of agents, unfortunately, they call once. So they call the lead when they first get it, and then they don't pick up the phone after that.
Yeah. What's some exciting technology or exciting like phone app or something that you're using now recently that you implemented?
Oh gosh, I know I should have been prepared. What am I using? I think the biggest thing we're doing is video. So I think you can't go wrong with video. However you can, everyone's heard of BombBomb, and I'm trying to do more BombBomb follow-up emails, communicating more with our leads with using, I'm always videoing how-to type of videos.
Yeah. We just started using Loom, Loom, and basically you could do how-to videos to your team or to clients or whatever, and you don't have to download the video and then upload it to Dropbox. It goes straight there, right?
That's
so you
amazing.
can just literally, like, every day, be sending little screenshots or things on your computer or just voice things. Boom.
Goes right.
LOM.
I'm going to look into that. That's perfect.
It's free too. It's free.
Right. So you can't go wrong with Facebook Live, the same concept. And doing more videos. I do a video when I'm going to do an open house. I do one at the property before it gets started. I do one during the video, at the end of the open house. A lot of people are overlooking the video that feature of Zillow, and I think that's a big mistake. They need to make sure that they do it. It takes 2 minutes, but 99% of the listings on Zillow don't have that video, and I've heard from prospects that they only look at listings that have that video because they want to get that three-dimensional kind of feel, the floor plan.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's great advice. Well, listen, Nancy, this has been fun. So now everybody that comes on the show now brings a free gift with them. And what we do is we put that free gift on your page, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it hibandigital.com Nancy Braun 2, right? So it's hibandigital.com. That's / you might want to write this down, BRAUN, Nancy Braun 2, the number 2. And I'm also going to put it in the toolbox, which you can find on hibandigital.com / toolbox. Why don't you tell us what you brought as a free gift today?
Well, I'm going to put together a list of some of my objection handling language and handling the leads and a follow-up process on how to follow up with the leads.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah. And guys, we're going to put that in a PDF format. You can print it out, put it right on your desk and use it on a day-to-day basis. It's obviously working well for Nancy. Nancy, listen, this has been a joy. Thank you so much for coming back on. I wish you the best of luck in Charlotte. And next time I am in your neck of the woods, I will look you up and we can break.
You got it. I owe you a drink.
Thank you for watching Real Estate Rockstars. Please give us a review wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening. We eat feedback for breakfast. And I don't care whether you give me a 1-star review or a 5-star review. I just want the review. I want to know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Would love to improve things. Hey, and listen, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get and the more reviews we get, the better guests we'll get for you in the future. Feel free to reach out to me anywhere on social media. Just type in my name. I'm everywhere, and I look forward to meeting you in the digital world. Have a great day, and thanks again for listening to Real Estate Rockstars.